Hello, and hi to everybody online too. I am. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm Siena Stacy. I'm from Northern California. I'm 20 years old, and I have 4 little sisters. So I just want to tell you guys a little bit about me and my testimony. So my parents, actually, my mom came to Christ about 2 years before I was born, and brought my dad to Christ. And so they were new Christians when they had me and my sisters. Between me and my youngest sister, it's like there's like 3 years because the youngest are triplets. It's like we're all really close in age. Yeah, so we're all like similar ages. But yeah, so they're really new. So I grew up in the church. I grew up going to church. I grew up being led and shown by my parents and how they walk with God. And yeah, and so looking back to that time in my life, I could see, yeah, just the contrast and when it switched. So growing up, I knew God, and I loved God, but I was kind of like under that umbrella of like my parents' faith, and I knew I would listen to what they'd say. I'd always hear my dad pray and talk, and I'd always pray and like before dinner and stuff, but I never had that like desire to get to know God, to have a personal relationship with Him. I didn't really even know like what that looked like, or what a personal relationship with God was, or that you could have, or like how, I guess, real it is, and what it means to have the Holy Spirit. Like I didn't understand that growing up. Yeah, and so there was a switch in my life. I became a senior in high school, and that's like when you have to decide like what you're going to do after high school. So I always had in mind, my parents both went to college, and so I was brought up like that's what you do, you go to college. And so I was like, okay, expecting to go to this big Californian college, like well known. And I applied to a ton, and looking back at the time, God led me to a smaller Christian college in the LA area, and I just thought that it was like really weird that different doors closed, that colleges that said yes decided actually no, and just different things that was crazy that led me to this little private college. I was like, I have no clue why I'm supposed to go here, but I feel like I am, and now looking back to that, it was just God closing doors really hard for me, and yeah, directing my path and straightening my path, like Noah's talking about in Proverbs. And yeah, and so I went to this private Christian college, and this is when I realized that I needed to have my own faith, and I needed to learn who God was by myself, and from my own prayer life, and from reading the Word by myself, and not just what trusting other people say, and just from people around me, because I've heard that my whole entire life. And I've listened to many pastors. I went to church my whole life. My dad made sure every Sunday I was there. But it never clicked for me until I went to college. And so you have to get a Bible minor at this college I go to. And so I was in my first Bible class because I went to public school. So private school was like really new to me. So I was in my first Bible class, and it's when I realized when the teacher had us she gave us verses, and we had to tell her like from what gospel it was from by how it's written. And like in that moment I was like, I can't even tell you what books of the Bible were the gospels. I don't know if somebody asked me like what the gospel was, if I could even say it or explain it, because I knew like Jesus died for me. I could say all that, but I didn't like know it in my heart. I don't think I fully believed it. I just thought like that's how the world worked, and like I believe God created everything, but I didn't understand, like I said, I didn't have that relationship with Him, like yeah. And so I don't know if I could have explained that to somebody, because yeah, I wasn't consistently talking to God. And so that was 2.5 years ago. And so within that time, like I've just really been able to realize what it looks like to be consistently talking with God and have a consistent prayer life, and to and what it looks like to really love God and really submit yourself and really just listen to him. And from this, what I've realized, like, because before, when I knew of God, like, he still blessed me and he still protected me and he still loved me and he still cared for me. And I could like tell you that from like many different times. Like, I know he's spoken to my life and I know he protected me from things. But there's a difference between knowing of God and knowing him and having a personal relationship with him. And this time, these past 2.5 years, having a personal relationship with God, it's just yeah, just like the consistent joy that you have no matter what season of life you're in is just insane. And also just how what I've noticed is like how much more confident I am in my faith and how confident I am in who I am and how confident in like who I'm supposed to be, because I have this personal relationship of who our creator is, and yeah, who the all-knowing is. And so it's just that difference in that relationship with God is just, yeah, so overwhelming, and it just changes your perspective on life and how you live. And I've loved it, and the more I've gotten to know him and the more I've read my word is like the more and more and more I want to know and want to get to know him. Yeah, so I didn't hear what they were going to say before, but I actually have the same verse as Noah. So Proverbs 3:5, and just trust in the Lord with all your heart and not lean on your own understanding. And this is kind of my life verse too, because especially these past 2.5 years, I think I realize I don't understand a lot and things are confusing, and the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. And in those times you're like, okay, like just trust in God, and there's so many other verses just saying like how much God blesses people by just like following him and trusting him. And so yeah, through these 2.5 years, the more I know, the less I understand, and just the more I trust in him. And it also just keeps like a childlike faith, because yeah, just not to get too confident in what you know and what you've learned about God, but just to fully trust in him and not lean on your own understanding. And yeah, I just want to encourage you guys in that, and just to really keep or build that personal relationship with God, and just realize what that does, the difference between just knowing of him and really knowing him, and what that looks like in your life, and just the transformation it has. So thank you guys.